And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Richard Eskow, and this is the Zero Hour. And speaking of zero hours and the need for action, we've been seeing an ongoing struggle over the Social Security and Medicare programs, and Social Security in particular, and we're going to be talking with our next guest about that. Richard Fiesta is the executive director at the Alliance for Retired Americans, which is a 4 million member organization working to create an America that protects the health and economic security of retirees and older Americans, which is something that, God willing, if we live long enough, we will all eventually become. Rich, thanks so much for being with us.
Great, and thanks for having me, RJ. Glad to be with you.
You bet. Now, listen, I wanted to talk to you especially about Social Security today because this is an issue that I follow very closely. I used to work in the private sector in retirement benefits and a lot of related issues. In fact, one of your former organizations, you used to work at Pension Benefit Guarantee Corporation in the Clinton administration, and they guarantee one of my own benefits should I ever live long enough to retire, because that corporation, like many Wall Street organizations, played fast and loose, and our pension fund wound up being administered by you guys. So I hope you set a good groundwork for those folks. But this is an issue I study a lot, write about a lot, and people were upset when President Obama unilaterally put a benefit cut to Social Security in the form of lower inflation calculations in last year's budget. Now, there have been recent reports that his economic advisors are refusing to say whether that benefit cut will appear in his upcoming budget, which should be released shortly. Do you have any thoughts on that subject? What does your organization think, and where are you on this?
Well, we think the administration would be wise to not put the Chained-CPI into the budget, which everyone expects now will be released on March 4th, so we're not that far away from it.
Right.
It was, at least according to the administration's explanation of it, one of their bargaining chips or little bright, shiny objects that they were dangling in front of the Republicans in order to get those two words none of us liked, grand bargain, 2, 3, 4 years ago. And obviously the Republicans didn't take the bait. So there, as we know, no grand bargain. There's not going to be a grand bargain, which actually could have hurt Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid a lot more. So our view, the Alliance for Retired Americans, is why put it in? It's not going anywhere. It's a terrible thing. It's a benefit cut to a program that has a surplus and that has no relationship at all to our fiscal structure and our debt. So we're advocating, and I know a lot of people in Congress are, and a lot of advocates around the country, that do us all a favor and don't put it in the budget this year.
Now, you make a very important point here, because, we're constantly hearing that the White House may feel one way, but they feel they have to move another way to compromise with the Republicans. And, honestly, I was part of an off-the-record briefing by a very senior administration official years ago suggesting that, in fact, they like this Chained-CPI benefit cut, but whether or not they do almost doesn't matter in one sense, which is, and this is what I want to get your thoughts on. I think part of what you're saying, when you say why put it in if you're not going to get the grand bargain and therefore it's not going to become law, aren't you really also saying that we're not talking enough? We're talking about Social Security as if it's a cost item and not as if it's something that benefits millions and millions of Americans?
Exactly. It's sometimes you get these people with these green eye shades, and they just look at numbers such as Social Security, for example, and they just don't see the great national benefit that a program like Social Security has. It's without it, 40% of people over 65 would be living in poverty. It's the best children's anti-poverty program because it's not only an old age retirement policy, it's if you have a worker in the workplace who dies during his or her working life, the surviving spouse and the children are taken care of. If you become disabled while you're working, there's a disability program too. So it's kind of America's family insurance policy that why would we tinker with it when it works so well? 1 out of 4 households, in some states a lot higher, has Social Security benefits coming into it under one of these programs, and we should be celebrating it, not looking to cut it or demean it.